Back already. Dough. Anyway. We back. Already. Disconnected so I have my mouse. I want to turn this down a bit. I might just leave it there with the jukebox as I go through. Oh, well then I might turn this all down. I don't believe this today. I don't think I'm pressing anything else. I have this nice subtle tunes there as what's that? Bring this over here. Oh, I don't actually need it that wide. So might as well have it some in the background there. Cool. Sorry, just clearing my throat. Sorry. Nice subtle tunes. Checking the. Yeah, that's fine. Also need the closed captions. Mostly marrying the start. This is where we left off. Oh well. What's up? Num's here. Keep going. I can probably now get through all my thoughts on the special program. I think we're have the videos, of course. It's interesting that they only showed stuff for Yi Juan, her character demo teaser, and a little animated film like Shiyu and Miyabi, right? I assume this sort of thing here would be particularly similar to the Miyabi, how I believe when she got the title of Void Hunter because she defeated the giant ethereal in the hollow in under 3 minutes. So it's probably going to be something like that. Kind of interesting how she's looking here. Based off the clothes, she's probably like going to be some of her history there. That's pretty cool to learn more of her. I think, over here with a small character. Here we go. Yeah. And then, yeah, this is the Yunquei Summit. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. But yeah, this is Yunquei Summit. And I believe we know the order. It's going to be her with Anian who? I keep forgetting if I keep feeling like I'm getting his name wrong. Where the heck do they talk about them, actually? Yeah, right here. Yeah, it's Pan Yin Hu, right? So yeah, he's the A-ring for her banner, and yeah, Jifufu. Yeah, we're getting this little cutscene like we did before. Well, that's my mute button. What showed up there? A lot of Zenless Zone Zero stuff. Let's see. If I ever can recall what that one looked like. I don't want to waste time trying to look for it because I don't think I know the name, and I don't feel like looking for it. But similar to the season 1 trailer, which showed off the factions that we'd see 1.0 to 1.4, and so that's sort of the style we're going here. I think we only saw. No. Oh, I think they had a different trailer that showed off Lucy and Piper like this as well. So I think I'm thinking of 2 different trailers, or it might have been the same one. No, I don't think it was the same one though, because the other one I'm thinking of showed all the characters as silhouettes. So this was the style they showed for like I think for all the characters releasing in 1.0, except for the limited agents. So I think just the standard agents had this sort of thing. So now we're getting it for presumably the first 3-ish batches of agents. And we already know them. They'll be here later. Well, of course, saying that right now, seeing these 2 together would make me worried that they're in 2.1. I don't want them in 2.1. I don't want playable agents. That's the easiest skip ever. Yeah, I really am just annoyed with the direction of the story, but that wasn't my story. When I played through the story, I already had been through that. And then here we are. You see who? Oh yeah. Oh, they didn't have like the whole background thing the first two had. Or sorry, I said Yuzuha. I believe what we're assuming here. So I believe they had what subject change names. In the big old list, because we actually learned their names because I believe CN did as well, but definitely Japan announced all of their names. Wow, this is a low quality image. I think I hit it too fast. Yeah, you can open. Oh, I opened. Wait, no, that was correct. If you open image too fast, you'll get like the thumbnail. Yeah, it was a bit of a different name here. Ubo Yuye. Apparently, though, Yuzu is written on her umbrella. So hopefully it's just Yuzuha, because that's so far easier to say, though I'm sure this could have a Fubo Yuye, something like that. This is still my topic. Well, actually, because of the new look we got at ORPHIE, we'll get her shortly. Yeah, yeah, Fubo Yuye or Yuzuha here. This could still be a branding. Well, we assume it's probably her name, but it could just be branding, and so her name could still be something like this, which we learned from this. I think this. This is on the official. So yeah, we learned that because they announced the voice actors and who they voice. So this is probably just the first patches. If these were all the characters who were named, because that's 1.3. So these are all, maybe not her, because she feels like someone very important who will be referenced much later, but probably shows up early, or at least talked about early. The Ye Zhongguang. Yeah. The very notable thing here is right underneath the Fu here. Okay, I'm making sure I was actually on game capture. Right underneath the little Fu here is from who we saw in the previous the season 2 trailer, is this little raccoon here with a little hat that's adorable, who we don't see here, but at a different angle. Right, I'm gonna assume right here. Yeah, little paw prints on her umbrella. So yeah, surely like the raccoon is very directly related to her. We just don't see the 3D model for it, which is a little annoying. Wasn't prominent in any way, but my hope is that the little raccoon is a minion type creature, so, like Jufufu's popcorn machine, which we'll get to later, and also like Lucy's boars. So there's a hope for me that with Jufufu being in the game now on top of Lucy, they'll let this redhead character. I think we'll all go with Yuzuha. They'll make Yuzuha here a minion buffer specifically. That's definitely a long shot, but I just think the idea of maximizing a little army that passively damages for you is very funny. It'd be even like more hilarious if she does the thing where she has a spamming EX special like horns or pipers. That would be hilarious. Like, well, she has a little umbrella with, it looks like little blades here. So, and it also looks like a gun, though. I think someone noticed, like, her little chamber here. And then she's holding the trigger. What are you kidding me? Yeah, it could be just a gun. Could be a flamethrower. And yeah, so that'd be super cool if she, like, had a spamming EX special and made her synergize with Lucy specifically while being a minion buffer, because unfortunately Lucy's M6 is based off of her boar's damage, and because of that, well, you can't make use of a lot of buffs for her M6 damage specifically. Like things like Caesar's additional ability is 25% damage when you would hit the enemy, but it only applies to agents. But someone like Pulchra, for some reason, possibly because someone here might be an Aftershock with a minion, for some reason, Pulchra actually buffs all units Aftershocks, and her M6 makes that Aftershock buff for everything. So Pulchra does actually buff Grassy, Woody, and Bricky. So that's actually something I think is a bit interesting and cool. So yeah. You know, the new disc set is probably only for ally agents though, so yeah. That's a crit damage buff they can't make use of, which is a shame. It'd be nice if you could just get teams that would maximize minion damage, because that would also be maximizing Bang Boo damage, which I think is just fun. The idea of, you know, having agents dedicated to maxing out a Bang Boo's burst. Probably would want one to be a stunner, like Pulchra, but so that way you get the full 3 and Bang Boo chain attack. Or you can only get it with stuns. Excuse me. Yeah, that idea just sounds funny, but also really fun to me. So yeah, hopefully, but I wouldn't bet on it too much. My only other problem remaining would be I'm a very broke free to play, so I probably will be skipping her, him, her, and saving up for these 3 specifically. Unfortunately, I just think she looks really cool, but she's not relevant right now, so we'll get back to her. Yeah, that's my hopes for Yuzuha here. She looks pretty cool. I like her design overall. I guess there's a part of her that maybe feels a bit plain. It probably would help out a bit if she had her little raccoon around. You just don't see it. And then there's Alice. How do we know her name is Alice? Just play it. Yeah. How could we possibly know what her name is? Now it's glowing up. There we go. And we saw it earlier. Back up. Apparently people saw this and thought it was a fishing rod, which I think would be funny. But yeah, no, a rapier sort of thing. Someone said a saber. It's some sort of fencing foil type of weapon. I think, okay, first off, it's what we see of it is kind of interesting for design. First off, yeah, I think for me the obvious reference, as someone who unfortunately did grow up with Ruby. Look, I'm still into it. All right, get to a good picture of her. Oh, not this one, original. There we go. Vice Schnee. Yeah, they're definitely giving that vibe. More so, not just being, you know, white, light hair, fencing weapon sort of thing. But to me, a big thing that makes me think is like this cartridge thing on her back. That feels like it could be a sort of Ruby type of thing where you charge up the weapon in some kind. Like Weiss had sort of a glyph special ability where she could summon glyphs based off of the sort of energy dust equipped in her weapon. And so I wonder if she would do something like that. Like she can launch something, energy out of her weapon, or an element that well, whatever her element is. Yeah, so yeah, she just feels very Weiss to me. I don't know why I'm saying Vice. It's the American pronunciation of a W, come on. But yeah, that's sort of the vibe I got from her. And honestly, the blue here as well. What does it say, though? I don't know if this is the highest quality mic. I don't think this is high quality. Alright, well. We can go bigger. There was an obvious way to go even bigger than this, but I decided to... Does it just say tight? No. Okay, well. Go the obvious way to go bigger. Gosh, this is really the highest quality I get. Ooh. I'm leaning in. It's not backwards because that's a G right there. So it's, I think it's just TGMT. That's interesting. An acronym of some kind, of course. I guess it's just branding, of course. Or, of course. I noticed myself repeating again, sorry. It's probably more annoying to notice myself repeating. Yeah, TGMT. Suppose it's some kind of branding. If she is, and well, they typically show like their character's weapons, so we'd actually probably will learn about this whenever she comes out, which is pretty cool. Background history into how weapons, like Melody is the creator of Astra Yao's weapon. Yeah, she has a rapier of some kind. It's this blue color. I don't quite like it. It's a very bulky looking this hilt, but in a geometric way sort of thing that looks heavy, and I don't know. It's slightly unappealing. I don't quite like how her weapon looks, unfortunately. I would think she looks cool overall. Cool. She's just a schoolgirl though character. Very plain. No, I wouldn't say very plain, but somewhat plain. I think something interesting is this. I could imagine this is referencing something that maybe you would wear, but it's just very noticeably sticking out when she's in motion. Okay, actually it flowed a bit, so maybe it looked a bit more rigid when I was looking at it, so it might just be... Yeah, no, okay, so it might just be a ribbon sort of thing. Yeah, because she's spinning that way. Yeah, am I forgetting? Dang it, why can't I not think of a buckle or clamp sort of thing? Is there a specific name I'm thinking of for something like you click in? Like a backpack has, because my backpack has it. Oh, hold on. I have no idea. Not belt. I can't think of it. I assume it's just the word buckle. But yeah, you know, the plastic ones that are on most things, like shopping carts to hold your kid in place. That sort of buckle. It almost looks like it's that for some reason. She has a clamp here though, so I don't know. It's almost like she's ready for rock climbing. Like she can attach to something. Which maybe, yeah, maybe that's the gist they're going for, because she's part of a spook shack. Maybe she's like prepared. Maybe someone falls and she can buckle in and clamp something down to drop in and catch them or something. Well, with how gravity works, you wouldn't really drop down and catch them, unless it's a really high fall. So, but you know, maybe poke something in the ground and buckle yourself in, and then, you know, walk down to someone who's hanging on a ledge somewhere. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. I don't know. It's just sort of weird, but yeah, it's sort of buckle thing here. Yeah, she looks cool. She's not as skittish and scared, but you know, that feels like that part of the trailer feels probable to what her personality will be like, or at least easy to see her as this skittish one of Spook Shack, and her friend being the one who scares her, like we saw before. But you know, outside of situations, you know, like maybe she's they're part of Spook Shack, so they're probably very into the supernatural, both of them, and believe that sort of thing. But she's the scared of ghosts one. But you know, otherwise she's probably, I don't know, refined and ordinary, studious sort of student character is what I'm getting the impression of. I believe we also noticed this sort of neck chief and symbol on... Dang it, I forgot her name. I think it's Iris. But the girl from Lycon's Agent Story. Yeah, I believe you can see her if you get Hugo. I won't, so. But I think she was in some Trust events, because I saw her recently in other players' screenshots. And of course, Trigger, because... Sorry, it's too soon. Trigger, because she's probably relevant to the Hollow Zero 2.0 little side story they'll have for the side game mode. I imagine she's not won't be at all relevant to main story. No. Oh well, it's fine. Makes enough sense. But you know, it also almost feels like she is shown here because they don't have Seed ready. I could imagine they want to make him more of a spectacle out of Seed. He's a very distinct figure, and it seems like people are excited for him. But it, you know, we'll see. They definitely don't like the atypical characters, mostly males. But guess who's the cast so far? Oh, we can check. Oh, that button. I had a faster button I can press. Let's see. Male. Yeah, he was released right before Miyabi. He was free and right alongside Miyabi. She was made an A rank and was a complete furry character. He was a 1.0 character. He was a 1.0 A rank character. He was an A rank character. He is the A rank character. And he was released right before Yi Zhuan. Otherwise, yeah, there's not really any atypical character. Like the next one up is Qingyi, who I also heard didn't sell too well, unfortunately. Though at the time where Qingyi released, I think it was very easy to undervalue her for the current level of the content. Like I didn't pull for her because I had Koleda, you know, that was simple as that. But you know, for the current level of the game, she's still struggling a bit, unfortunately, from what I see. I can tell, at least in Deadly Assault content. But for Shiyu defense, though, very, very powerful characters, like just the stunner who can provide very strong bursts for any character. But you know, it's always a matter of how much time you spend on a burst character versus a DPS. So like that's the bad part about Koleda. All the time you're spent on Koleda, even when you try to minimize the time you spend on Koleda, only do defensive assists and EX specials. Might as well just get another buffer to better maximize the out of stun damage with Evelyn. That's why like freaking Nicole is better than freaking Koleda with Evelyn, dude. That's so depressing. But yeah, like supports are kind of insane. But aside from that, Qingyi is I think the most atypical character we've gotten so far as an S rank, because she's I think the last very short girl character we got, and that was in 1.1. I think all the limited characters we got that weren't Qingyi were normal sized women. I think literally everyone. Gosh dang. Holy crap. And yeah, they released only 2 limited males that weren't free were released before freaking the Void Hunter and Void Hunter level characters. Very cool. Anyway. All that to say is that they might still be making a Seed, have a you know, more special introduction, because from what we see, Seed is a very distinct individual. It seems like Seed is female from all the descriptions that are changing, and seeing as we're getting Orpheus now and saw Orpheus with Seed in the season 2, I guess Seed should be pretty dang soon. So, there I was trying to grab something here. For later, but yeah, yeah, presumably, yeah, Seed is not here, right? Maybe they could be trying to treat him a bit more special, maybe, but he is still, you know, just not a normal female character. Even if Seed is a female character, she's not a hot anime girl. So, you know, they probably definitely worrying. So I mean, to be clear, like the 3 male characters they made in this game were really powerful. Haramasa needing a lot of skill and learning, but just Lighter is still the best ice and fire buffer in the game, just while being a solid stunner. And then Hugo being very powerful with Lighter specifically. So I don't think I have too much of a worry for Seed's power level. It's just how they will present Seed and how much attention they'll give Seed. which is, I guess, is a bigger worry because they already don't have seed here. Yeah, a part of me still just assumes seed just wasn't ready, so they just aren't showing off seed. So we get trigger instead, but we also get it's her. It's her. Oh my gosh, it's her. Holy crap, it's her. Whoa. I think I quite love her. I think she's really adorable. I just really like how she looks. Going back to, did I get rid of it? No, that's it right here. Like going back to this one, like my top 2 characters, I think I said Obel, like as a whole, I want entirety of Obel, but I really think Zhao and Seed were my top 2 picks. Just a lot of the presentation of Zhao, and I just think she's really adorable. But I think these 2 were easily my top picks, just for any reasons. At Seed the most of all. But I still really liked Orpheus. I mean, look, she looks really cool here, right? In this one, looks looking only at the 2D art, and she looks pretty cool, you know, but just pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, like, she's got a gun tail with a blade, yeah, horns, so apparently a chimera sort of thing, if you think about it. If you take the orange, maybe red orange hair as a sort of lion's mane type of thing, yeah, but maybe chimera makes enough sense. You know, I definitely think she looks cool, so I'd totally pull for her, but I wasn't as excited for her as Seed looking incredible and Zhao being absolutely adorable, and well, and just the way Zhao is presented, with especially the smug smile. So yeah, I was actually quite a bit more excited for both of these 2 than I was for Orpheus, who I still liked a lot more than, well, a lot more than these 2, and just mostly more than these 2. I still no idea who this is, so I have no opinion. But yeah, from the 2D trailer we saw, I think I was starting to feel, you know, I think I really do just want Zhao specifically and Seed a lot more than Orpheus. But then we got this, and she's adorable. I just really like how Orpheus looks now. Yeah, I mean, basically that. I think I like this better look at the jacket. Going back to the big comparison I have here, I think the jacket looks, I think we can see poofiness. Okay, I guess I have to do that here, but I sort of like getting a better feel of it in the 3D. And we get to see more of who we assume to be, I don't know, it's right here. Yeah. The gun. The gun that says Brujas right here. Who doesn't have the blade right here, so yeah, he can take out, I assume there's a retractable bayonet, or this is the out of combat model, you know, so they take off the weapons. So that also makes, I think, more sense. So yeah, no bayonet for the gun. So like looking at the way he's looking here, looking at how she's presented in my cutscenes, it feels like he might not be too major of a character. At the same time, I really love the idea of them having a cutaway. You know how they present the characters with these black lines? You can see how I cut it here. You can see the black line. I think, you know, Trigger was here and someone else was here. Oh, right. Roland was here. It was Roland, Orpheus, and Trigger, or they swapped them 2 around. I really love the idea of swapping in, like when the gun tail starts talking, they swap him in and have him in his own little spot here. I think that'd be hilarious instead of just making him pop up from behind Orpheus, because that'd be I think the normal way you'd do it. I don't know, that idea. But anyway, I like fully believe this gun is going to talk. Pretty sure okay, I may have been aware of leaked information. Apparently it's character sheets, and supposedly that information is fine on even the official subreddit, I guess. But technically it's leaked information, so I do know it as the entire design point, but I mean, from honestly, we can already piece together it is the case that this is Captain Magus here, which I don't know, Magnum, that's a gun, right? Well, yeah, but yeah, sort of Captain Magus, Ghost Fire, and sort of leaked the original translations. But you know, here he is, got eyes, he blinks. I'm just really excited because you know we will probably see these two talk and discuss, or I assume he'll talk because I mean, we know they're related. We know they're Magus and Brujas is the same person because Soldier 11 in the 1.0 had the translation. Had a translation. Oh, bad. Had a disparity between what she spoke and what was written in dialogue. So, yeah, we're pretty confident in it. We're pretty confident that whoever is named Brujas here, which is harder to see in this screenshot I took, unfortunately. Excuse me. Is it more clear? Maybe it was more clear. No, because the gun started going there. Whatever. But yeah. Pretty confident this is Magus, and you don't need the leaked information to figure that out. Just use, unfortunately, how the errors that occurred in the one early in the game. Yeah. Just the design was pretty cool, but man, I think making it adorable really puts it over the edge to me really want to hear, because like she still has that really cool design. We don't get a great look at it, unfortunately. Mostly just the upper shots, and this was the most. I think this was the most dynamic pose we saw of her. Yeah, and that wasn't much. Hey, get back, get her back. No, yeah, that way. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, we don't see too much of her. But man, I love her. She looks so adorable. I love her so much. And yeah, she still has that cool design. Yeah, she's not angry faced all the time. Is there really a noticeable difference? I guess this part of the eye line looks thicker. But this, because we're at directly the angle where it's thick here, it's hard to tell. Yeah, it thins out like it does, yeah. I don't know. I can't tell. I'd have to be looking at this one, I guess, for the most view. I don't know, yeah, her face looks same. It's the hair mostly. It's because they had really bright yellow lighting on her. And so they ended up making her entire hair look like a red orange more than the more orange, yellowish orange than the very vivid red orange it is here. All I'm saying is I saw some people say, hey, we got Miyabi's face changed, let's change hers too. Shut the heck up, man. Okay, yeah, I mean, she looks way rounder here, but then you look at this one like, oh yeah, she's looking up. And so you don't see as much of her chin when she looks up. Yeah, people were talking about like her having like two personalities or something. I don't really want that to be honest. That doesn't sound too interesting to me. You can see both strands here, one here, and then one. I probably much harder to see in stream, but yeah. Yeah. She's really cool. I really like the design. Yeah, you can. It looks a lot more black here, but then there's I think more of a dark blue tone on the blacks. I guess she looks older here, but we don't really see all of her. I think her feet end right here, right? Okay. But we just never got a full view of her, so we're not really sure how she looks standing up still. She is adorable though. I really like her design. Yeah, what we don't see here is like, I guess this is the garter belt sort of thing. I learned that one from an anime. You can guess. and so I'm probably wrong. But yeah, she has obsidian on her. She has obsidian on her knee stocking, sort of thing, and obsidian right here as well. I really like the booby jacket. Something I really dig. It's definitely just a design I like. It just looks comfy, doesn't it? Like this jacket. I mean, it just I feel like it sort of looks like a leather you could wear, or sort of thing. Not leather, but you know, cloth, sort of cotton you could wear. It looks comfy. It looks like a big hood, so maybe it could reach over her horns. Yeah, maybe horns, not antlers. I don't know the difference between antlers and horns, but goats have horns, I'm pretty sure. See button here. She did look apparent. People did say that she looked pretty symmetrical for Hoyoverse design, and unfortunately her hands are definitely show the asymmetry. But no, otherwise, aside from her hands here, not just the obsidian here and not having obsidian here, and then whatever this giant button is, this is a comically large button on a weird cloth part of her clothes with this little red gauntlet here. No idea what this could be, but this feels like it could be part of whatever weapon she uses in combat, so which is pretty cool to try to consider what she could actually use. You know, I mean, she has a gun with a bayonet on her tail. So, but she probably uses something, and so that's probably whatever this right here is about. So that's really interesting to think about. On rolls, which I probably could have mentioned for these two, which I didn't, but I'll get back to them honestly on that, because I think that's fun to guess about. The two options are honestly rupture or she's totally fire. Like we saw her tail glow. It looks like she'll probably shoot fire out of the gun on her tail, so that it feels very easy to just say fire, and it'll feel weird if she's on fire, so I'm not even going to pretend she's a different element or attribute. But for roll, yeah, rupture or anomaly is the main guesses, which makes sense. You know, it makes sense to do what they did in a 1 point. I looked through it on during a Souls stream. It was 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, all in a row had an anomaly agent. It was Jane, then Bernice, then Yanagi, then Miyabi. And then we skipped 2 and still got Vivian now. You know, so yeah, quite a bit of anomaly in a row at the start of the game, because they started with, I know this song, I definitely recognize it. I think this song shows up in Deadly Assault. Metal Chimera, okay. Right above Real Bro Hans, Young Lady Greta, and Warrior Friday. Yeah, this is the unknown eruption complex, definitely. Surely. Or I'm just completely wrong. Water. But yeah. Just looking at the anomaly agents. And it started with these two. Would you believe me if I said I pulled 3 limited anomaly agents? They were all Bernice, but I pulled 3 of them. But yeah, they started with these two, and so they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then waited for 7. Let 6 and 5 rest. But yeah, it felt like Anomaly Zone 0, because they just kept spamming anomaly agents, which was fair enough. Bernice was a great pull, by the way. I felt like she lasted quite a long time, and I really enabled these two to last quite a bit. But yeah, bring it up. Yeah, it feels like she could be a fire anomaly, or no, rupture, because we only have the one rupture unit as of 2.0, and that'll be Yijuan. So it makes sense for them to probably do something similar and give us like the 1 point or the 2.1 and or 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 sort of ruptures in a row. Probably not 2.1, but maybe 2.2 and onward. We'll have a couple in a row, which is why Orpheus feels like the prime target for being a rupture agent. of course, the other idea is just make her fire anomaly. And if they were to do that, do something different that isn't just making her an off-field fire anomaly, because making a fire anomaly would be pretty weird. Good day, Lord Phaeton. I feel like the one thing I'd want is for the idea I had a while ago, which is sad because that idea I had was for Pulchra, to make Pulchra viable with Bernice. And that idea was, I had a couple ideas. No, actually, no. The idea I had for Pulchra was different. For an S-rank Pulchra, I'd say, yeah, make her the S-rank ultimate version of Anton. That is to say, what Anton's additional ability is, where his crits apply another shock. Unfortunately, because he's Anton and an electric agent, he will just dilute the potency of shock when you play him. So that sucks. But you know, well, it's a bit of a but if you made Pulchra like a physical agent, like she is now, you can do that again, but make her work with like fire, electric, or corruption agents, and so her attacks would reapply the anomaly. And then she wouldn't dilute it at all, and then agents like Bernice and Vivian would be able to do quite a bit of build up without taking time away from spending on field as Pulchra. And so that was my idea for Pulchra. Instead, you don't play her at all. She has a whole basic attack. It gives you iframes. So upsetting. Anyway, but no, the other idea I had was when Bernice was really new, and you know, we heard about the mono fire teams with Bernice, like they dilute her burn or something, but then if you reapply burn, you just lose out on the extra burn, right? Because it's a 10-second anomaly that Bernice with her additional makes a 13-second anomaly, right? Yeah. When any squad member applies burn, the duration of that is extended by 3 seconds. Yep. So she has 13-second burns, but if you apply burn again, you just replace it with your current burn, with the new burn, and nothing happens. You don't get those burn ticks you had left over. And so my idea, if they were to make another fire anomaly agent, was just explode. I really like the idea of it being with a support, like, yeah, fire support. So you could go that fire support, Bernice, and a lighter. I think that'd be pretty good. Oh, hello, Fiora Lee. Yeah, talking about, well, the 2.0. Yeah, of course. And so, yeah, the idea of of having a fire agent that would apply, if you ever applied burn on a burning target, it would explode the burn. And so if for some reason Orpheus here was a fire anomaly, yeah, that honestly be the only way I'd kind of want it. Otherwise, I think she'd just directly power creep Bernice. But I think that'd be pretty cool, because anomaly at this point in the game is, I think, entirely reliant on disorder to be like very powerful, which is a bit unfortunate. It feels a bit maybe restrictive, not really restrictive, but it feels like, yeah, you know what you're going to be doing now. So I think someone who just wants to apply the same anomaly over and over would be pretty cool. The only problem would be burn just stunning things like Pompeii. So like if she was fire anomaly and Bernice was fire anomaly, they'd just be constantly making Pompeii not do anything, which would be funny, but you know, probably not what they want on a gameplay side of things. How's your day going? Pretty good, pretty good. I started to stream earlier, but I don't like streaming when anyone else is, or when other people are home, because it's nice in the living room, and so I don't want to bother people. So I ended up having a very short 20-minute stream, which got about this far into the update video. Very funny. Yeah, great day so far, and a great day yesterday because they announced Orpheus, and yeah, went over how much I just love the design. Yeah, she's not as stern all the time as she was in the little bit we saw in the 2D season 2 trailer, but I just think she's super adorable. Like, she jumped up from being, I think, a pretty solid number 3 most wanted agent in season 2 to, I think, very easily being next to Seed and the agent I want most. Unfortunately, that all does mean, since I'm free to play without much, yeah, my polychromes will be, gosh dang it, freaking shook everything. Can I get that back? I can actually. Wow. Yeah, I'm very broken polychromes. What am I at? I think I'm at 4,000 now after. No, sorry, I was super presumptive. I'm at 3,337. Lots of threes. That's honestly kind of funny, but yeah, don't have much, so I'm saving up for that. I'm definitely skipping, unfortunately, both Yijuan and Jufufu, but yeah, we'll get to Jufufu and Yijuan's and Panyan, who I think it's Panyan Hu, so not Panyan Hoon as it was the original name. But it was subject to change, I guess, so fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very eager to get Orpheus, and I really hope she's fun. Yeah, since I did go over those two, I did go over what I was hoping her role would be. I think it would only be Rupture or Fire Anomaly are her best chances. Man, being a fire support, fire stunner. Imagine Orpheus is another fire stunner. I wonder who else would be a fire stunner. I wonder if we already have 2 fire stunners. You love to play this game on streams? Yeah. Not too often. I think after I'm going through this, I do intend to go through Shiyu defense. Yeah, I do think I'd prefer to get more recordings done though, since you know, I have to be talking during streams, and my computer isn't the best, so the quality maybe dips a bit if I have things like OBS open and I'm streaming. So I don't love streaming it on or playing while streaming it, but you know, I love the game, so if I'm streaming, it's probably going to be about the game. Freaking fire stunner Orpheus would be so terrible. So many fire stunners. But yeah, support could be interesting if they decided to say she's like off-field DPS type of support, not just make her like a DPS of some kind. Oh, I guess there is, if she is an attacker, the last thing I would assume is a true off-field DPS aftershock agent, which probably wouldn't be a great idea, because the big thing why you would make a true off-field aftershock DPS would be for 8 Soldier Zero Andy, because while it doesn't seem too much like it's her, while she is like an attacker and a strong attacker, a big part of her is, let's see, I think it's just this. No, okay, no, it's this. 30% of her crit damage is given to her allies and all squad members aftershock damage. So yeah. Oh yeah, you can share. You can chat. Just chat. It's fine. Share to your heart's content. Well, preferably about the game. But yeah. Gosh, that's just. Yeah. I did skip Anby. I didn't quite like quite a bit of her, but something I do quite like about Anby is that in a way she is a very supportive, very supportive DPS agent. Because with her damage boost and crit damage buff to, I did that twice now, where I spoke something and highlighted the other thing, and then talked about that thing I just highlighted and highlighted the thing I talked about before. Anyway, she damage buffs and crit damage to aftershock allies. So in a way, she's a supportive agent, but there's no like actual off-field or aftershock DPS agent for Anby to buff at this current state in the game. So she's not. We don't have quite that potential for her. She mostly just buffs rather weak aftershock stunners in the current point. So I guess it would be annoying for me because I skipped Anby. So if she isn't off field aftershock DPS, it wouldn't be the most amazing thing for me. But I mean, I guess I could continue DPSing with Koleda. Yeah. Those were most of the thoughts. Just make her probably rupture. If she is an anomaly, please have that exploding burn. Idea that hopefully they have the same idea of having burn reapplications, or just reapplying an anomaly, making an agent explode that reapplication. And so if she could do that for burn as an anomaly, that would be pretty rad. Then yeah, those were my main thoughts. But yeah, I talked about what I really want from her, because I don't see it well from this shot, but this when we knew her name as Fubo Yuye, the raccoon here, I really want it to be a minion, and I really love the idea of her being like a minion buffer. So like all units, like what the heck did I close? No, I didn't actually close that. Cool. Agents. First off, let me open Lucy, but also Pulchra, because shockingly important. A weird thing they did, but makes sense when you consider they said, yeah, they make characters with future characters in mind. They actually made Pulchra's aftershock buff to an all units buff, which is important because Caesar didn't get this tag, so her damage buff is only to agents. Like, even though it's it's supposed to be a debuff, that a 25% damage debuff on taken debuff for the enemy, but Pulchra does 30% for properly all units. So you lose these boars and Bangbus can make use of it, and so I really like the idea of, if this character here, if her little raccoon is a minion, like that she buffs minions, and so you can have the thing I really want is like her, Lucy, and now get rid of the safety belt. What was this one? I didn't forget this. Jufufu we saw has a minion now, which is or not now, but has a minion with her popcorn machine. That's why I really like the idea of using, if she's a minion buffer, you buff Jufufu's a little popcorn machine and Lucy's boars, and so I guess that would make her a support. Digital X Artix X, and I work with 4 streamers since 4 to 5 years on commission. Unfortunately, not at the moment. Unfortunately, I'm rather broke myself, so I wouldn't be able to commission in any way, shape, or form. And so yeah, I like drawing, so I do things like this. A fun thing about streaming is that it gives me an excuse to draw thumbnails, which isn't just an excuse to draw. So yeah, I mostly do things myself as an excuse to keep doing more of it. Yeah. It feels warm in here, but it's apparently 70 degrees outside. I should have opened it. I'll open the door and hope no loud noises occur. I said I'll open the door and hope no loud noises occur. And then I immediately heard a dog going. It was really funny. Anyway, but yeah, a minion buffer. It mostly makes me ask her to be a fire support, which you can kind of maybe get the vibe of it, though. She does have a freaking gun umbrella. It's something I really mentioned earlier, is that I really hope like maybe her EX special is her spinning the umbrella, and only as an excuse that she synergizes with Lucy's M6 and would make boars spam the ground. So if she buffs minion, she would buff that specific attack. That'd be cool, I think. But yeah, otherwise, yeah. I mean, that's my main hope for actual roles. Look, she has very bright red hair and a red umbrella. It's hard to not see her as a fire agent. She doesn't need to be a fire agent, but she's very red. Okay, let's see. Go over list of agents. Who are the most red? All right. In fairness, Billy is quite red, but it's only his jacket. You know, he has black pants. Astra, only wearing this shirt here. Astra's more red than Evelyn is, but Nakamato's also quite red, but she's like black hair, you know, so I think also has a lot of black on her as well. Even if red is her main aspect of clothing. I think the most red character in the game is definitely Koleda, who is quite fire, but she's also like literally fiery red hair. Like she has a little wisp of fire for their little hair thing here, on top of wearing fire on her clothes. So like she's like way more obviously fire. I think someone mentioned something part of her outfit looks like she had fire on it, maybe in like the 2D image, but you know, maybe that'd be more obvious in like going through that trailer, which I don't feel like going through. But yeah, she feels like very obviously a fire agent, so like what role would you want for that? What role do the fire agents have? Let's see, they have their anomaly with Bernice, they have their 2 attackers, one's limited. She could be defense agent, but she could be the S-rank version of Ben Bigger. Very sad. She could be another no, never mind. That's a great idea. She is a fire stunner, and ORPHIE is a fire stunner. Like, why not at this point? Give us 5. Get over here. Get over. It's so hard to cross the 2 computer monitors. Anyway, but yeah, going back to her. Rupture. She could be the rupture agent in Orpheus' anomaly or something. But yeah, another S-rank support, genuinely. If she's a very niche S-rank support, and she's like, man, I just really hope she's a minion buffer. She probably isn't. We haven't seen her raccoon, and that's my disappointment, is that we don't see her raccoon at all. But we are very confident it's hers. Going back up, when she was spinning her umbrella. Yeah, little raccoon paw prints here. No. Yeah, that's 5 toes. For some reason, it looked like 6. But yeah, it's very clear paw prints here. Just sad we just didn't see the little creature's 3D model. Yeah. I guess I really would just assume her an S-rank fire support. But, you know, not specific to fire. Man, I'm just really hoping a minion, which would suck. Because I really want Orpheus. It would suck because that's a concept I really like. But these are my little 3 most wanted characters for the entire patch. So it would suck to really want for her to have a design I really like. Well, gameplay wise. Because that's, I think, just think that'd be a really interesting design. And then Alice. I mean, her name's Alice. All ice, dude. She's an ice agent. Something I think would be really funny if she's an ice anomaly agent. And I think that might make a lot more sense. Because, like, oh, that's just Miyabi. Yeah, that is just Miyabi. But, like, Miyabi is frost. Yeah, but yeah, to get into that more, describe it further. I lost my train of thought. Somehow I needed to describe it further. I think I had a different thought to go through, but to just explain why that would be strong. Miyabi's current strongest team is Mono Ice. It's Sokaku and Lycon. And like the thing about it is Miyabi's Frost is a separate freeze, and then Sokaku, who has a very massive amount of ice anomaly buildup, and on top of being a very strong buffer to ice agents like Miyabi, can freeze quite easily. And a very powerful thing about freeze is that it stops the stun timer. And so you can literally just extend stuns by like 10 seconds. You can literally double the durations of stuns or something to get so much more burst in as Miyabi. And so, the thing I was going to say is it would very much make sense for Miyabi to rerun on 2.1. And making an ice anomaly agent, even if they're crit based, which is kind of what I'd prefer, crit based ice, another crit based ice anomaly, running with Miyabi, that's weird, except until you figure out, oh, she could spam freeze, and then Miyabi would spam frostfire, and they'd actually be very synergistic with each other. That actually would be powerful and I'm someone without Miyabi, so I wouldn't be able to make use of that, but it would be potent. She'd just end up being like maybe a mini Miyabi, but a mini Miyabi that's maybe as strong as Anby is still very powerful, especially if she works well with Miyabi. Yeah. And then the other thing would be, she'd have a different W engine. She could have the crit damage ice W engine, but then like if she's running with Miyabi, you would just grab Miyabi's W engine. There's like no way they just make a signature rivaling Miyabi's. But yeah, it's still Ice Anomaly. I feel like makes sense as a crit based agent. Because well, Ice, first off, it increases the stun duration because it stops stun, so that's more time for crit based agents to deal with their burst in a stun. And then Ice and Shatter just increase crit damage by 10% for some reason. And I believe that stacks with Miyabi's Frostburn, so that's 20% for using Frost and Ice Anomaly. So that's why Miyabi with Sokaku Lycon is her strongest team, which it feels unintentional, but it is like a really high caliber like team. Well, not high caliber. I'd say it's very high skill, a very high skill ceiling. I'm not sure how high the floor is. I think it's higher than her other teams, but yeah, I would say it's probably higher than her other teams to get mediocre with the team and get high scores. Like, it's just a very powerful team from what I've seen. So like adding an Ice Anomaly could be insane, especially because it would probably be a modern ice it'd be another S rank, so she'd still be competitive with things like the agents who aren't quite as strong as Miyabi, which is still really strong. And if you could use both of them on the same team effectively, that'd be very powerful. So that is why I really think she would be Ice Anomaly. And knowing what her weapon is now, yeah, when we saw a bit more. Oh, let me try to back up here, because right before we saw a better look at her here, not just her rapier sort of thing, but then she also has this pack thing, so it feels like she can charge like ammo into it, like Vice from Ruby. It's sort of my idea. Generally feels like maybe they saw Ruby and they thought it was cool, which, I mean, to be fair, I dislike maybe quite a bit of Ruby, but I also just really love the world and like a lot of the character designs and concepts, so they could do what I did and just think about it, and maybe they're using sort of the same similar concepts. Otherwise, freaking Ice Attack, come on, right after you buff Ellen, yeah, they can't just make her Ice Attack, they can. And then the last idea would be Ice Defender. Genuinely need to drink some water. Maybe hold on. Ice Defense I think would be interesting, because the idea there would be that she's an ice agent who just spams parries instead of having a shield or something. Like as we saw Panyan Hu earlier, or well, we'll see him later, but Panyan Hu doesn't have a shield. Actually, he's just a healer. So instead of shielding, he heals. That's interesting. But I don't know. I guess what we should do as a defender, I don't know. Ice shields. That makes enough sense. But I guess another idea I had is being a defender aftershock agent. So she's the off-field parry for you character. And something about that sounds really interesting to me. But then, like, she can just have a very parry heavy playstyle. So, like, she's really good on field, but she's also has that very good protection. Would be I think the main idea. I'll add you on Discord. I don't quite Discord. So unfortunately, oh, that was an interesting deleted message. I don't Discord much, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Maybe. Sure. Let's see. I'll be honest, actually just don't Discord, so not really sure. Oh. Wait. I actually don't Discord, so I'm sorry. Wait, what else? Give this guy, what the heck? I heard this guy had a freaking spin attack. Also, he's definitely not Ice League because he's not getting frozen by Miyabi. Also, yeah. Oh, he took a little burst and now he can be stunned, I think. Oh, into the gym. Oh, I unfortunately don't use Instagram. Unfortunately, I just don't use that one either. I'm not too much on social media. Yeah. Oh yeah, just more of the game. This Hollow Zero sort of thing. Did I explain it more better? I'd have to go through this better. It looks interesting. Just have levels. I think I noted them in the last stream. Like they're still like people like for some reason, but they're still like partially corrupted by miasma or something. So that's the sort of gist of this Lemnian Hollow area. So like people are getting corrupted but not fully ethereal. It seems like it's Exaltist. I mean, look at this guy, dude. He has like a hammer. He's wearing like this robe with a mask. And then he got flipped over because he was getting beaten up by Miyabi. What the heck was that? Oh wait. Oh, I see. He didn't get like flip over from being attacked, I think, but he was actually doing a weird backflip and was preparing an attack. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I beat him up. Yeah, okay, I'm sure it's a zero build Miyabi. So. I don't know, it's somewhat interesting. I think this actually could be a very interesting gameplay area. People have discussed not wanting an open world, it to become open world, and I fully agree with that. Because like I just never played other Hoyo games, but I explicitly decided on ZZ because I just thought it looked really cool and stylish, and it was an open world, and I didn't really care to play an open world game. The open world just sounds a bit boring, depending on the game. And honestly, if I wanted to play an open world game, I'd play one that isn't a gacha. I feel like. So yeah, it was easy decision there, but yeah, ZZ looked really fun, and so I'm playing ZZ because not open world partially, but also just really fun combat. So yeah, fortunately, what we see here, like on this mini map, it's not like an open world or anything like that. It's a big old map and places to go. Maybe preferably more interconnected in a way, like just have the classic door does not open from this side, Dark Souls thing, or just some path that clears up when you move something and things fall out of the way. I could do that sort of thing to make it maybe a bit more interconnected than what kind of looks like a line here. It looks like you'd follow this path here. I still don't really like this. This looks very cool to me. All right, and then you can see this line here. This is clearly an elevator here. And it looks like there's another one here. I assume this is connected. This fan might be what I was talking about earlier. It feels like you might have to go through around this area, but then you can knock this off and connect these two spots or something like that. Maybe it's hard to tell, but I don't know. I quite like it. It's an open area. Well, somewhat. There, if it's an extended area, it's a better way to put it, I think. But it's an enclosed in its own space, so it's just a large level, and I think that's really cool. They can practice level design. They can actually do level design, which I don't know. They didn't do too much, I think, in so far in ZZZ. It's mostly been a very, very enclosed areas. I'm hopeful for it. It looks cool. It looks like there'll be some level of exploration and things to do, like this focus meter. It will probably not be hard not to notice things like these and to just press the button and do the thing you're supposed to do. But I mean, I don't know. It looks really cool. And all right, as long as they aren't handholdy, because man, Melanoi, I think I remember listening back to this, how they said it. It looks like it should be spelled Melanie. I'm pretty sure it's spelled like the name Melanie. Oh, my bad. It's not quite the name Melanie. Oh, wait. There's also apparently a chthonic goddess invoked in one of the Orphic hymns. Orpheus! Actually, though, that's kind of funny. Orphic would mean Orpheus, the our collection of 87 ancient Greek hymns addressed to various deity, which were attributed in antiquity to the mythical poet Orpheus. Yeah, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. I would assume, because I think I spelled out, I assume I just misspelled it, to be honest. Why'd they say Alright, I did misspell it. It's Into the Pale Wasteland is the level. Oh, interesting. Melanoe is the protagonist of Hades 2. I didn't know that. But yeah, that was the name of the level in Into the Pale Wasteland, and that was rough. That was a rough level. That was very handholdy. They had arrows pointing to what you needed to look at with the lasers, dude. That was so honestly boring. That was a rough one. I really liked the Bangbu parkour, Bangbu travel. Yeah, no, a little platforming segments. Those were literally the most fun parts, unfortunately, of exploring that area. I think it just got too boring and very repetitive, a bit long, too, which was unfortunate. It wasn't that big, but you had to run around. So I feel like they might be able to do a lot better here, and I feel like from what we've seen, it already looks, I think, quite a bit better than Melanoe. Melanoe? I think it's Melanoe, but pretty sure it's spelled like the name Melanie. So I might just keep calling that place Melanie. Anyway, though, this place looks sweet. I quite like it. I'm very eager to try it out. I probably would do it on stream because I do like doing main story on stream. So, all right. Well, hopefully I get find time to probably do that. It'll be summer soon. I need to sign up for a class. Find the class. Make sure I finish my class so I can qualify for that class because it's intermediate, and then I'll be completely fine and set. All right. And I'm fully fine and set. Anyway, Yujuan talks about her special attack. What did they talk about first? Her going with the flow. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, don't need it loud. Yeah, she has a corrupted sort of status. Ooh, honestly, that's what I want to see. Actually, turned it off. I don't need it to be muted. Come on. What the heck? Anyway, and she looks cool. And she has a parry, that's neat. Alright, so that's corrupted. She's an ether agent and she does sheer force. I assume... Alright, this is the big thing I'm thinking about for her. Corruption. I'm thinking, I assume this might proc chaotic metal. That's my big worry. From everything by the looks of it, we see the... Excuse me, sorry. from we see later, the disc set made for her is crit base. It gives a crit attack 12% and 10% damage to her sheer force. But then this disc set, it's about corruption's additional damage. I'm pretty sure whatever they're doing here for her unique thing, sheer force, I feel like it's very explicitly designed to end up not working with her, which is frustrating. But it says corrupted, but unfortunately, chaotic metal is specifically about corruption's additional damage, which, you know, applies whenever you hit an enemy, you'll proc corruption. Corruption's damage over time. So yeah. Presumably, chaotic metal will not work with her, but I wanted to count out how long does it take her to proc. Let me see. We procs this at 17. Alright. It's actually 5 seconds, which, alright, if that's how long it takes her to proc, if those proc chaotic metal, she could totally use this. If, assuming, because it looks like that's not a dot at all, or damage over time at all. So, let's see. Repeated triggers, reset duration. So you would keep it up. For 8 seconds. Okay, yeah, you had 8 seconds. So it's like 3 seconds of clearance just from this clip alone. But yeah. Man. I assume that doesn't proc chaotic metal at all. And if that's the case, that's pretty lame, to be honest. Yeah, because it's not anomaly, so it's not proccing things like infernal metal. It's not burning them. It's not sheer force probably isn't burning. It's not polar. It's not freezing or shattering. Yeah, so there's a good chance like a lot of these W engines are just dead to rupture agents. Or not W engines. A lot of these drive discs are dead to rupture agents unless you're pairing them with someone who procs it. Like Nicole, technically, who will rupture ignores defense, so Nicole's defense shred is useless to them, but Nicole is still a 25% ether damage buff, so she'd still have that. She's like one third of a lighter, but she can use a support W engine, which is basically the same as his own signature. And she groups, and she has good ether corruption buildup, but she's much better at proccing corruption if her allies also building it up, like Shiyu and so yeah. Oh, it feels bad. It looks like she's very clearly designed. I assume if you go Yijuan Vivian, then Yijuan would be able to use chaotic metal very easily, and I would assume chaotic metal is much better than her signature drive disc set, but we'll see when the numbers are out, and we'll know exactly how she works. But yeah, she looks cool. Her animations are fine. Gosh dang. Unfortunately, I got a slight bit of, I think, allergies maybe or something. And unfortunately, the way I'm speaking is making my face. I'm speaking in a way to vibrate my head, which is vibrating my nose, which is irritating something in there. It's making me almost sneeze. Okay. Hopefully, much better. But yeah. If she can proc chaotic metal, it should be pretty strong on her. If not, then very lame, to be honest. But whatever. But yeah, yeah, she does sweeps, disappears, stuff. Yeah, she's cool, but I honestly, yeah, nothing about her animations look super awesome. That's kind of cool, yeah, but I don't know. Just stand still while you activate the equivalent of a Nicole ball, just without the defense shred. Okay, so yeah, that's your special and EX special, but yeah, which is cool that it procs defensive assist, no, perfect assist, you know, like Evelyn's special. So that's really cool. And Evelyn's special gave the reward where dodge countering was really good on filling up Evelyn's meter, but dodging with Evelyn's special greatly filled up her meter. So yeah. All right, she accumulates adrenaline by fighting. That's what I understand. Anyway, that's her parry and shield. That's kind of interesting. I will say this kind of looks ugly. It looks very muddy. I assume maybe even that they have to suffer like YouTube's video compression, so I assume this will look much better in game. I don't know. It could just also not. I expect it. I don't know. It looks a bit muddy, so I don't really like how this looks. But it looks, that's also like an instant shield that you can instant parry out of, I think. So you never need to see it. But I don't know. I don't quite like how her ink looks. I don't know. It's not like the solid black. I feel like I'd prefer the solid black. But it's filled with like this gold. Honestly, it's very Shadow of the Erdtree colors, black with gold within it. But you know, that's her mini ultimate. Oh, is that her ultimate? Oh, that's a continuation to her ultimate, I guess. That's kind of weird. Kind of interesting. What was that? Her entire ultimate? I don't know. Sort of fine, I guess. That's with her ult animation. I don't know. That was a very quick ultimate, and she doesn't really pause, so it doesn't feel as impactful, I think. So I think this is actually a pretty low rated ultimate appearance. Yeah, gameplay wise, I don't know. To me, I see first off, this is awesome. Yeah, she has a fast run because she can fly by her bird. That is really fun and cool. So that was a great thing they showed off. But yeah, I feel like she really is just a physical anomaly agent, to be quite honest. Like, the entire point is to keep attacking and you fill up this a meter. Oh, not meter. No, I guess it counts, but fill up a bar. Fill up a status effect, and once the status effect is filled up, you deal a burst of damage, and yeah, that's just physical anomaly. The only thing it doesn't do is interact with disorders, you know, or other anomalies, you know. Is that her real ultimate? Okay, yeah, alright. So she is a super Miyabi, and she got power creep to Miyabi, where she has 2 different ult animations. So yeah, this is more what I expect for like an ultimate, I guess. Wasn't anything crazy still. Yeah. I don't know, she looks kind of cool, but yeah, like, to be quite honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At least 6, maybe 7 of these characters look more interesting than Yujuan. So something about her feels like an even easier skip than Miyabi, which is interesting. Yeah, well, suppose that is what it is. Yeah, I don't think she looks not all that cool. She's just a new mechanic though. She'll be catered to, and she just has different supports she'll work with. It's kind of a shame that her not working with the best support, one of the best supports in the game, Nicole, is, you know, counters one of the less amazing supports, Rina, because Rina's 10 ends up being useless for her, which is a shame. Definitely more so because Rina is Rina, and well, Rina, her buffing is it's just weird. If you ever compare Rina's buffing to Nicole, like, Rina gives 10% damage to shocked enemies. Yeah, she gives 10% damage to shocked enemies. And her M6 is 15% electric damage to enemies she hits with EX, Chain, and Ultimate. So it's only for those 3 attacks. Alternatively, Nicole's additional ability is that she deals her enemy she debuffs also take 25% ether damage from allies. So she just buffs by 25% damage to ether, while Rina needs M6 to buff 25% electric damage to anomaly agents, or not anomaly, to electric agents. And it's only when the enemy is shocked too, so it's not even the most consistent thing. But it's just insane to me. Like, I feel like Nicole's just so obviously better than Rina. It's so weird to me. Like, Nicole is just way overtuned, and I don't know. Rina's not bad at all, but she's not bad. I wouldn't say it at all, but yeah. Anyway, but now she's useless with agents like Ijuan, and it is like just significantly less value to any electric any electric eruptor agents that ends up existing. Oh yeah, right, I saw this. This was useless. No, not to all of them. First off, they added Astra to this list, which, to be fair, you don't need Astra's additional ability. It's just not at all necessary. It is nice because it gives extra hits when you swap around with her. I believe she does this basic attack and tremolo clusters, or tone clusters and tremolo normally, but this additional ability adds another one, and then she has a mindscape that adds another one. Which, yeah, more. Why not? Oh, sorry, I blew on things. And in the direction of the mic, sorry about that. Tremolo and tone cluster. Yeah, but like all you get from Astra's additional ability is more damage, so from Astra herself, which is the big thing it does is help proc anomaly from off field, which honestly mostly mattered if you used them with Nicole, but rupture agents ignore defense, so you don't really want to use Nicole, even though Nicole is probably the third best support for Yujuan just because she's ether. Which is hilarious. Anyway, yeah, it's not a big change. Unfortunately, the same goes for Koleda. This is something I kind of wanted, but for attackers, because Koleda's additional ability is so bad. Like, it's hard to tell because you look at the numbers and it looks big, right? It's 35% damage boost to chain attacks, and you can do it twice to 70% damage. It's bad. It's just not good. Like, the best you get is if you double chain with your main DPS, it's 70% damage boost to 2 attacks during the stun. And then they'll continue to spam other much stronger attacks. So yeah, it's, for most characters it's just really bad. It's just not at all substantial buffing. It's like a 70% damage boost to maybe 10% of the stun duration, which is even less when you actually attack the enemy outside of stun. The one thing I'll give is the fact that Astra is included now is good for Koleda. Well, I mean, not that Astra needed this at all, but they literally let her pair with any main DPS in the game. That's just kind of weird, but this does give Koleda the single thing she can do, which is buff chain attack spamming rupture agents that lighter can't do. So if there's non-fire, non-ice rupture agents who spam chain attack specifically, Koleda can buff them. But you know, someone else also buffs chain attacks. Guess who? Yeah, that's annoying to me, but yeah, well, be right there. That is the one niche Koleda will be able to do if they make another Nicole, or not Nicole, Evelyn type of character buff for rupture. Yeah, okay. Problem with that is, well, still not great because it's only during stun. Even though, like, Evelyn is just better with Nicole than she is Koleda in almost every case, it sucks as someone who really loves Koleda. I use her as a DPS because I don't think she's amazing as a stunner. She's still really fun as a stunner because she stuns really fast. That's not great. That's not good. Because that's all she does well. I think the biggest problem was, I mean, just is that her buffing is insufficient. Like, you have to know what you're doing with Evelyn to make sure you aren't going into a stun without like her stacks and stuff. And then Hugo is just depressing because she's still on Lucy's level for a guy who gets buffed when you put a stunner on his team. That's insane to me, man. It's so sad. If you have like Lucy and just lighter, it's just better. If you have Lucy maybe with Lycon, maybe it's not better. It feels like it might be though. It's just all Koleda does is make you stun faster, and sometimes it's not as amazing as you think. It's just not as substantial as you would assume, but yeah, that's just the sucky thing about Koleda. Yeah. If they removed the during stun while the target is stunned, if we just remove this line of text, yeah, she is stronger. Not amazing, but still pretty good. Or at least for anyone who spams chain attack specifically. It also, if it lingered, resets if they said like resets 3 seconds after the stun effect ends, that'd be nice for like Evelyn chain attacks that continue a little after the stun ends. Now that'd be an appreciated thing they could do. Just keep it when the stun effect ends, give it a slight linger, and then make it not while the target is stunned. It only is removed when they can recover. This is also almost useless. It's nice in the fact that if they could do the same thing, like I mentioned for the raccoon girl, the redhead, if they make a rupture unit who spams their EX special like Piper or Corrin, then Lucy will be able to spam her M6 4 attacks because of it. And because of this change, that will actually deal crits, because the M6 is based off of her bores. So I assume because of that 300% fire attack, or 300% modifier fire damage, it will actually be able to crit because of that. And now, well, it can crit because she can now work with ruptures instead of just fire and Sons of Caledon. It's honestly not hard to get that, and well, to be honest, it doesn't matter if you use it with Pulchra. But now you don't need to use Lucy and Pulchra, even though I think Lucy Pulchra is a very good team. A good free-to-play team. And honestly, it makes sense to see how much they pair well with, because Pulchra just buffs Lucy's bores for some reason. Yeah, they already activate each other's additional ability, but now they also get buffed by a Rupture agent, so they... I don't know, they're supporting stunners, so I don't think this changes much if you ever use it. If you use Lucy and Pulchra together, this probably changes nothing, because I think I'd assume the next Rupture agent who would actually like working with them already would get their additional ability from a support or a stunner at least. Also the new stunner set, so it feels like Rupture agents will also be a stun-based class, or at least try to be. But yeah, Pulchra, at least at M6, is solid, so if you pull for Yizhuan, it'll hopefully you get Pulchra's, because at M6 she's a solid agent. Alright, she's an okay A rank agent. She's not as good as Lucy, to be quite honest. But with the new drive disc set, yeah, could be pretty good. So definitely don't sleep on Pulchra. Yeah. Those four getting, gosh, I don't want to hate on it too much. It's good for Pulchra, but for the other three, that was almost meaningless. Because for Astra, it was just a few more hits from Astra herself, which isn't amazing. Not that great of DPS. For Koleda, her additional ability sucks. It's really, really bad. Despite being 70% damage, it's probably the worst 70% damage buff they have in the game. That, oh, the other one could be Nekomata's, because hers is the same number as 35% twice, but you need to proc assault to get that for her EX special. that, though, to be honest, you can actually make use of that buff probably more often than a Koleda can make use of hers. Or at least more effectively for Nakamata. Both aren't great, though, so this is the competition of not great standard agents. Oh well. Yeah. Honestly, it just feels weird. Like, only Pulchra is really glad to have that, because her additional ability at M6 becomes general to not just Aftershock agents, so... You know... Yeah, she wants that all the time. So... I don't know. But at the same time, like I said, you can use Pulchra and Lucy quite effectively together, so... It's not like she needed it. All it means now is that you can play her with Astra and any Rupture agents, so that is good at least. Yeah, I get the Panyan who, yeah. Oh, he's thinking. Yep. But yeah, he wears a rice cooker on his head, yeah. I feel like I know what the name of that type of bowl is, but I already forgot. Yeah, he looks cool. From what it looks like, he has these stacks here, and when he gets these stacks, if I interpreted it correctly, okay, he'll automatically consume these stacks, and when he's automatically consuming these stacks, I believe you can swap off, and he'll just keep doing them. Right, when he's consuming the stacks, I guess. It's hard to tell when you start this. Yeah, there he is. He's doing it, I think. Yeah. And he's consuming them when, even though you stopped playing them a while ago, so yeah. It's not like Aftershocks from how I see it, but it looks like he has a very long quick swappable attack. His ultimate is healing. It looks really fast, so I really can't even tell if it like staggers. There's a good chance it doesn't even stagger things like Typhon, which would be really bad, but it's a really fast one. So if it does stagger Typhon, that's good, because then you can easily cancel Typhon's jump as soon as you see his hands go, instead of needing to wait. Because sometimes if you notice too late, you end up swapping and trying to ult with someone like Trigger, who has a slight delay in her attack. And you can just miss with Trigger, which is unfortunate if you do. But his being instant, like lighters, might make him really good at canceling Typhon or other attacks as soon as you see them. Yeah, Jufufu. Excuse me, sorry. Has this ball. Whenever you start the game with her, she has the ball. That's cool. And then yeah, spinny Jufufu. Yeah. It's hard not to want Jufufu after seeing her attack. She freaking fights with a popcorn maker that she slams around and spins on. And it's a minion, so it still attacks when... Oh, wait a second, I saw that. Yeah, they swapped to Panyan Hu a while ago. Yeah, and while he was attacking, she started doing her spinning. Yeah. And she has an infinite attack as well. Yeah. Very cool character, I think. Apparently, she also increases how many decibels you get, like 1,000 apparently, and which is really good if you want to save up for like a certain part of the fight, and then you'll have some left over to be able to ult sooner again later. That's really cool. It is interesting to see him pop off. It looks like she had chain attack synergy, so yeah, when you spam chain attacks, there's a good chance he's really powerful with Evelyn. It'll depend on how it works. It looks like using a chain attack took out like half of it, and she kept going. So I think you just need to chain attack the once, which is probably still really strong Evelyn synergy. Yeah, she could just spam this, which is really funny. But yeah. The frustrating thing is she's a chain attack and ult damage buffer. You know, this is a chain attack buffer. Yeah. That person we talked about whose chain attack buffing is, how we say, insufficient. Competing with an off-field DPS. You do know Koleda is just worse than Pulchra? In the vast majority of teams you can make, she's just worse than Pulchra. at M0. Both at M0. So not like M0 to M6 Pulchra. No, it's just M0 Pulchra is better than Koleda. It's so depressing. And then you get to M6, and then yeah, just M6 Pulchra is just outright better than Koleda in probably the vast majority of teams. And you have to consider that Pulchra or Koleda doesn't get anything else. So like Mindscapes doesn't save it. Like she is stuck the way she is. She'll stun a little bit faster. She'll have an extra EX special sometimes, and then she'll deal more damage. That's all her Mindscapes give to her. Yeah, she is in a painful spot. It's just really depressing for Koleda, man. Like, just hard to explain just how sad it is. As someone who really likes Koleda, like learning she just buffs ultimate and chain attack damage. And just think she buffs her own crits and stuff. Sorry, I'm looking at a very unofficial source, which is subject to change. Impact, okay. Looking for some place where there's numbers. I assume that just means 80 cost. Oh yeah, she uses prestige and stuff. Dinner dodge. Yeah, no, they definitely said she buffs chain or something. I think it's here. Okay, no, she just has 60% damage reduction, which is I think more than Piper, who only has 40%. Critical damage increase, interesting. Like she's a big crit damage buffer, I guess. I don't know, they mentioned, I believe they mentioned the transcript would be weird to look. Taking its time though. Control a chain attack. Yeah, that's the, you know. Yeah. Okay. So her chain, her spinning state. Let's see. Having momentum in her spinning state, so when she's in that spinning state, or her chain attack will also grant members the Tiger Roar effect, so whenever she does her chain attack, and increases the crit damage and damage total of chain attacks and ultimates. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, she has a chain attack on all damage buffing and crit damage. What does Koleda get? Oh yeah, chain attack damage. Yeah, it's actually so depressing, man. She's literally a fire stunner. Who was this fire stunner? Koleda. She probably deals a decent amount of damage. Maybe, we don't know that for certain. But if she does deal quite a bit of damage, that's just depressing, because that's just butchering Trigger and Pulchra. That's just an admittedly butchering of Trigger and Pulchra by making the next I assume she's Aftershock. I don't know if they said Aftershock. Did they really not talk about Aftershock? Okay, I was in someone's read more. So someone else got Aftershock. Freaking honestly hate Aftershock. I don't know, it looks like what is this? It looks like it was Astra having Aftershocks or something. That would make sense. Anyway, yeah, I don't know if she counts as Aftershock. If she doesn't, that's cool. But I don't know. She's someone who attacks from off field. It doesn't matter if they don't call it Aftershock. It'd be honestly cringe if she just dealt more damage than Pulchra and Trigger, because they feel like they had their damage gutted if they're not playing them with Anby, which sucks if you just like characters and don't want to freaking play them with their only freaking buffer, which is freaking having their damage balanced around another agent. It's so frustrating, dude. Like, it makes sense. Like, when you try to say that, it can sound stupid because of course they bounce it around characters with each other, but man, I don't know. It sucks when characters feel much worse without someone, which is, I think, honestly somewhat the case with Hugo. If you don't get lighter, he feels much worse. Yeah. Feels like that might be the case with Trigger. I think Pulchra just feels bad generally. Even though she has potential to be fine as a buffer. But like, that's the thing. Pulchra's best as a freaking buffer, dude. Anyway, that's about it for freaking Jufufu. Like, she's obviously very adorable, and she has freaking awesome attacks. But man, that freaking being a chain attack and ultimate freaking damage buffer. Something about that is just so frustrating when my freaking favorite character is Koleda, dude. Yeah, no, it's my fault for having my favorite be a freaking standard agent, dude. But like, come on. It feels so blatant that they just like make better characters than the standard agents. Freaking, I don't want a freaking S rank version of Koleda, which is probably how you should say it. It's not like Koleda's, because Koleda's an S rank agent who's consistently power crept by A ranks, some released in 1.0. But like, freaking most A ranks just will do a role better than Koleda could. Like, Koleda will stun fast, and that's all she'll have, which is frustrating. Because Koleda is win more, I believe, is how you'd say it. She's not better than other characters, but if your DPS is so overpowered, Koleda helps them clear Shiyu defense faster. That is Koleda's best role at endgame. She's a adequate and viable character sometimes, but if you're struggling to 20k something like the Lethal, Koleda's not a great helper. Anyway, her W engine I think looks really funny. I like it. It's an A rank, or no, it's a standard W engine. It might have attack or something, it might have BDBS, but if it's like not crit based, then I don't think it's gonna be much better for Koleda. Anyway, Astra's rerunning. If I were to pull at all, I'd end up pulling on Astra just to get a Panyan who I kind of don't want to do that, but at the same time I kind of do, but no. I really should save, especially if I do end up wanting the redhead with the raccoon. Yeah, I need to remember what the name on the umbrella was. Oh, it's right here, so I definitely found it, right? Right? No, they were talking. There was a cutscene. Yeah, right here. Cute. I just kept forgetting what the name on this is. Yanahu? Yuzuha. Yeah, if she does look really cool, like a minion buffer. Again, that's a long shot, wild guess at what she could do, but freaking minion buffer would be something I really want to pull for. So I'd rather, I'm on 50-50 right now and I'm like 30 pulls away, so I will end up wholly skipping Panyan Who just to get use my 50-50 on like someone like her if she looks really cool. Definitely want to leave room. Yeah, and then the saddest thing is Caesar is next with Jufufu on the second half of the patch. Caesar feels like she's in a frustrating place right now because unfortunately I have her without her signature. Too, that probably helps her not feel at all amazing, but I don't know, man. Without her signature, she very easily feels worse than Lucy a lot of the time. Her ultimate is just bad. Like, it's actually unbelievable. Just the one fact that, like, it wouldn't save her ultimate at all. It would still be bad, but Caesar's ultimate, first off, has terrible days. Max it out. Level it to 12. It's 418 days. Stunners have over double this. Koleda. No, double is a bad way to say it. Double is definitely a bad way to state it. Freaking, what the heck did I click on? Okay. First off, I want to make it clear. Koleda has lower stun damage or stun multiplier on her ultimate than Lycon. Koleda at max has 1500. That is over triple Caesar's stun or days multiplier on her ultimate. Which means even with this 100% boost to a shielded defender Omega and only that enemy, and enemies in Hollow Zero, I guess, who are already super hard to stun, she's still like less than a third or 2/3 of a stunner's days build up. But on top of that all, she doesn't even have the assist points. Right here, uses a chain attack and ultimate, gives 3 additional assist points. Chain attack, oh, that's kind of cool. But ultimate, wait a second. Ben, Seth. Well, what do their ultimates say? Activating the move accumulates a resolve, which is his meter, and grants 3 additional assist points. His Ben's ultimate, activating the skill additionally recovers 3 assist points. Caesar's does not say that. It's actually kind of insane. Caesar just does not have the build up. The first off, she doesn't have a daze as the stunning defense agent, but she also just doesn't get the extra assist points that Ben and Seth have. That's insane. This is so weird that they locked it behind M4. But yeah, it doesn't really help. Her buffs are like, she gives 1000 attack and 25% damage. That should be good. It's 5% more damage than Astra, and 200 less attack, and 25% less crit damage. Oh, and she can't make use of Astral Voice at all. And Protopunk, it lasts for 10 seconds, meaning you can almost never have it throughout an entire enemy stun duration, except for some characters, but like you're losing a second getting to the stun after a parry, which you need to do, or defensive assist or evasive assist, which is needed to activate Protopunk, and then it's up for 10 seconds and gone, and you just don't have that throughout stuns. Caesar is weirdly underwhelming at end game content. Like, she's still really good if you're struggling to clear things, like mechanically, like you're getting hit a lot. She's still really good in that regard. She'll help you climb floors and tower. I'm still happy to have her, but she is underwhelming for the current level of the game and is not as adequate as A-rank supports. Oh, she's adequate. She's not as stellar as A-rank supports is a better way to put it. It's still a good unit, but there are better characters, and a lot of them are A-ranks. So, like, she's not as good as them at clearing Shiyu defense and getting 20k on boss. So if you're struggling to get 20k and clearing Shiyu defense on time, Caesar might help if the reason you're struggling is because you're getting hit. But if that's not the reason, she's not the DPS increase you need. Which is so weird for what her kit is. She looked so powerful when she released. She just really isn't at this point in the game, which is weird. But it's weirder that 1.0 A-rank supports just clear her. Oh, and what's depressing is, first off, movie time. Very epic. I missed it. Movie points. Ooh. Have you thought about movies well enough? This was awesome. People say this is the experiment with seed gameplay. I don't think it is at all. It's funny meme to think about. I do think I would prefer C to be a normal, more so normal character, especially with what we saw up here. Uh, it it's fun. It definitely looks fun. It's freaking that man. That lock on is insane, dude. They have it in here as well. But yeah, yeah, cool, fun mech game mode. But yeah, not actual Seed gameplay. Definitely not. I just wanted to say, first, oh, there she is. No, I can't say anything bad right now. I wanted to complain about Agent Gear and Hollow Zero and the Lost Void. Man, she's so adorable. But yeah, like, look at this arm thing here. Like, it really feels like she'd probably equip a weapon here, right? So she probably has a weapon we don't see, and that explains the asymmetry, right? Right? Very explicable, not inexplicable, but very explicable asymmetry. She sort of does have the Caesar. Both have this thing where she has like rings here, and her rings are money. Pretty sure that's money. But I mean, at least these rings, you can argue, yeah, she hooks things on, yeah, that keeps her safe. And these are bullets for something, presumably Captain Magus. Gosh, I just thought about it because I mentioned it earlier when we looked at the collage earlier. That whenever Captain Magus, her tail talks, they would replace one of these two. Like, oh, also Yijuan. I thought it was Roland. I assume we see Roland separately. But like one of these people would move to the side and then the tail will show up and you just see the back side of Orpheus in the background. Or you just see the side of her. Like Yijuan would move out of the way and you see the side of Orpheus and the tail right here. I just think that'd be a hilarious way to present him. Assuming he talks. There's a good chance he just doesn't talk. I really hope he talks though. I think that's a good opportunity to see them both. Now, people talked about how she might lock in and get serious, and that might mean she has another personality. I don't think so. I kind of would hope not. Maybe Captain Magus takes over. I kind of don't want that either, but I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be the biggest of things. Okay. Come on. It freaking sucks things on its own 0 on the screen. Okay, it's gone. Anyway, yeah. Gosh, she's adorable, dude. I really want to save up for her. I love her design quite a bit. She looks awesome. Trying to figure out how, like, this man, it's all bandaged up. I'm trying to think what would they be implying of it. This one's bright orange for color scheme. It's so interesting. Yeah, I love her design. Anyway, here's a look at new enemies. I don't know. I think this is Thrashin. This is the new Glutton guy. I think this guy's corrupted too. I think this is a guy we saw earlier, like a frog thing. But yeah, that's probably 2 new enemies in a Thrashin. Oh, a miasmic Thrashin, so that's somewhat interesting. Anyway, I hate Hollow Zero. I hate Lost Void. Freaking. My set of agents was completely visible. Let's look at the character who has gear in Hollow Zero. It's how do you say Miyabi? Ellen has gear. Yanagi has gear. Jane has gear. Evelyn has gear. Who else has gear? Astra. Let's see. Who else here has gear in Hollow Zero? No, not them. Not them. Not them. Not them. Not them. Billy and Corin. Literally no one I have gets new moves in Hollow Zero. So cool. I don't know. Yeah, I've also just been down on Lost Void. I don't know. Lost Void just isn't a fun. It's just not a fun. How to say it? How to say? Am I forgetting the word? Roguelite mode. Yeah. Like I really enjoy games like I really like Hades quite a bit. I enjoy Slay the Spire, which was the first game I played with that sort of map system that Lost Void has. But those are like way more interesting, way more engaging. I don't know, the roguelite gameplay decision making in Lost Void is just really uninteresting to me. I really just want like the gearing and like some of the gearing. Sorry, I don't know why this was here. Gearing in like this gearing in Withering Garden instead, so I can just play the Blitz mode. I think that's way more interesting to me. I need new bosses in Blitz mode, and I'm so frustrated that they just kicked it to the curb and just forgot about it. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I just can't play that mode because they haven't leveled it up and they just never added new bosses. It's so lame. But yeah, don't care about Lost Void gear. Alright, I think we're nearing saw new weapons. We don't know anything official about them. Alright, and something I also thought about. Freaking standard S rank 1 gen of your choice is insane. Okay. Did prepare. I did figure out how to look at this. I mean, he just did not sort by rarity, and then just press all the things that exist since 1.0. I think that's all of them. All right. Well, go back to by level. All right. I've definitely missed something. Already Defense Force, Sense Skeleton. Yeah, that's all of them. You know, I got a different format earlier. Excuse me. Wait, how the heck do I stop looking at the A ranks? I definitely got a different like formation of characters. I had them like very nicely ordered. I don't know what happened. Let's see, all the characters are, well, it's these 4. It doesn't matter. Wait, I honestly am just confused. Yeah. Cunning Errors have an S rank. Victoria Housekeeping has an S rank. Billabug, Sense of Caledon, and the Social Legends here. I have no idea what I did to organize this differently. Anyway. Yeah, alright, well, these are the options. I need to unfavorite them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is the options of all times. Unfortunately, the best character here, it's like bar none, is Lycon. He lucked out. I mean, I suppose it's not hard to luck out when they freaking give you 25% resistance down. What? And then also when you're with an ice agent or Rena, I guess. Or Corn. But probably Rena if you're mean it to give it to an actual DPS that isn't Corn. 35% stun damage multiplier. Technically, this is smaller than Koleda's chain attack buff, but that chain attack buff is only for chain attacks. This is for everything else. Like, if at a 200% multiplier, it's like a 20. Actually, you know what? This is very comparable to Koleda's buff. But this applies to everything else, so it's just better. But he does it with a 25% resistance down. Like, this has to be like an unintentionally overtuned debuff. Because like lighter gives 15%, which it like makes sense with all the other buffing he does, and he's for ice and fire. But like all the mindscapes that give resistance down are like way less. Grace is 8.5%. Caesar's is a 15%, I believe, on our M1 when you're close to the enemy while shielded. And Astra has a 15% or 16%, I think. I've been 8. Why do I feel like it was 18% on our M1? That's 6 to 10 times, or 3 times. So yeah, Astra's M1 is 18%. So like you don't get much resistance down in this game. I mean, uh, Evelyn's W engine was 25%. That was interesting. Interesting thing to diminish with slider, but anyway, like yeah, you actually give them quite a bit of buffing, like a 25% DPS boost to the majority of characters. It's not like 1-to-1, of course. Like weaknesses are typically a 20% boost. I hit the wrong thing. No, I get out of here. Why does it look like a calculator to me? It's literally like a controller icon. Oh yeah, can it open up? Yeah, right. Nice. Get out of here. I'll need to open it up later, but I need to turn on the controller first. Yeah, 1.2. Yeah, like that's the normal weakness. Then you're like again on a neutral enemy, a neutral ice, not weak but not resistant enemy. It's a 25% buff, but for most cases, it's about this. It's a 20% DPS increase. That's honestly still really good considering he's a stunner. Like they actually thought it was okay for him to get buffs, but Koleda got what she got. Gosh dang it. Anyway, I might stop stream again. People are home, and again, I don't like disturbing people when they get home. It's fair enough. Got to stream for a lot longer. Imagine if I streamed earlier, I actually would have gotten through things. But yeah, it's insane that Lycon actually got buffed. Basically, if you have Miyabi or any ice DPS, definitely pick Lycon. He's an excellent character, and the freeze mechanic with pausing stun is insane. Koleda's tragic. Rina is good only if you actually play Grace or Yanagi, and you only pick these two if you really like them. Priorities here is definitely Brimstone or Compiler. Because I honestly like this is just an insane stack for Brimstone. Hold on, where is my page? I opened W engines. Why is the floppy disk icon for W engines? See, this is a good damage move if you can actually get behind, but that's obviously hard to do. But Brimstone is just a really massive stat stick. And then Compiler is also quite good stat stick, but you need good stats and good buffs, but that's what makes it a really good scaling pick. So I also would really recommend Compiler. Anyway, thanks to anyone who watched or watching. I'll definitely be back for part 3 of the 2.0 trailer discussion. How silly. And then the Shiyu defense, surely, one day. Surely.
I'm at your disposal.